Welcome to the Athena Wellness Podcast, the show that invites you to take a seat around the community fire and listen to stories that inspire. I'm your host, Kathy Robinson, author, coach, and founder of Athena Wellness, a company that's dedicated to supporting you on your journey to live more wholeheartedly. Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me for this shortened Wellness Wednesday episode, a little midweek boost to help keep your warrior vibe high. Today I'm joined once again by Sara Harris, a retired psychotherapist and the co-founder of EarthWays, which offers programs to help people reconnect with the earth and themselves. During this discussion, Sara shares some practical, timely advice to help people navigate the thresholds of their daily lives. And now on to the show. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Welcome back, Sara.
Thank you.
Sara, we had an amazing conversation on the process of going on a vision quest and what that might mean. And it feels like these last few years that we've just been standing still and accelerating at the same time. It's been a very strange liminal space that we've been in. And I wonder, for those who are unable to go on a vision quest, but there's something that's stirring in them as they hear you speak about it, is there some way that they can work with this in-between time that we find ourselves in?
Yeah, boy, you described that so well, speeding up and going nowhere at the same time. Many people cannot go on a vision quest. Most people really can't. But everyone, even if you live and you just have a tiny little balcony on your apartment, you could go out and look at the night sky. You could go out at dawn, watch the sunrise. These places that are the beginning and the ends of the day hold a lot of energy. And to get out of your normal routine and be up for the sunrise and just don't talk to anybody for a few minutes. Just sit there with your cup of coffee or your tea and watch the sunrise. That can be a reorienting, or go out when the full moon's rising and just sit there. And basically, you can see a sky just about anywhere. Another thing would be walking. Of course, walking in nature is really, really good. But I think any kind of way of setting aside time, and the irony, of course, is when we feel most crazy is when we feel we have no time to set aside. Of course, with any good practice, I can't exercise, I can't meditate, I can't do that. I'm too busy. Of course, that should be our first clue. That should be the first thing on the list if we're saying that. But we all struggle with this. We all have to remember, really, literally reattach, remember this stuff. I even find that putting objects from the earth on my desk, I actually have a bowl of dirt from a really favorite place, a little Japanese teacup full of dirt. You could put the elements on you could have a little bowl of water, a little bowl of dirt, a plant, a pretty rock you found, a seashell you found, and just put them in a beautiful way on your desk. I mean, even looking at things that you love that are from nature, I think then there's relationship, like little energetic reconnection. Photographs, like in my office, my whole office when I was working was always decorated with nature art. I would always bring in fresh flowers or pictures on the wall were of places I loved, so that when you walk in, kind of what does the eye rest on? Is there something that you could have in your home that when you look at it, makes you take a big exhale? If you would just stop and look at it for a minute. All you have to do is look at it and you can, so I think bringing nature into our homes, whether you're on the 56th floor or on 5 acres, you can bring nature into your home.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful examples. And my last question is, you gave us some beautiful questions to hold the last time we chatted. For folks that are in this in-between place, I mean, I love the idea of what do I need to let go of or what do I need to let die? Are there other questions that are useful to help navigate through times like this?
Well, and even more, what no longer serves, what behavior no longer serves me, what identity am I really tired of? Like I've played that role so many times, I feel kind of fake, kind of wooden behind it. Like, is there any aliveness in it? Another question I think that can be very important in these times is that we're being asked to do so many things, and yet a question that's helped me a lot is this mine to do? Is this really mine to do? Or do I just think it's mine to do? Or is that an old identity that says, of course you have to do that? So is this mine to do? But all of these questions require a little bit of silence, or we can't hear the answer. So I think even more, the questions are important, but also if we ask a question of a person, but never stick around to hear their answer, they're not going to be very happy with that. And I think we can get into compulsive questioning of ourselves, but we don't ever allow the space to hear the answer. And that's where nature can come in. You ask the question and then go to the closest park and sit on a bench for a little while, or just be a little bit quiet. And that can be frightening. But if we never make a space to listen to the questions we ask ourselves, then we're stuck in addictive questioning, which kind of can become a favorite indoor sport, but it doesn't get us anywhere. Right? Like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? And then we think we're doing good personal work because we're asking. Yeah. And also the other part I have found useful in this time is do something different, like do it differently. These times have been, none of us have lived in any time like this. And I think we are being asked to do things differently. And we don't like that very much. We're quite habitual. Like, the way to the grocery store, drive a different way. You always brush your teeth with your right hand, try it with your left hand. Just doing these little things kind of for fun, but I think they're practice. I think they're practice about like letting go to be open to things being different and being more flexible. And that's what you learn when you're out in nature. You can plan all you want, and the weather throws something at you and you have to cope. That gives you strength.
Mm-hmm. And resilience, for sure.
Yeah.
One last question before we wrap up. What has you optimistic about the future?
I believe in evolution. I believe that consciousness, absolutely, that the nature of life itself is to continue to evolve and grow. And in times like this, it's very hard to see it sometimes or to trust it. And yet, there's always the greater the light, the greater the shadow, the greater the shadow, the greater the light. So I look at this universe and I see what has been created and the incredible good and beauty and inventiveness and kindness of humans. And I think it's all, no matter what happens with the dark, I believe that those are the seeds always of the true evolution, that nothing has ever been wasted of the good. And, sometimes it can get pretty dark. And I think even if we're not around, the seeds of all of our good works will seed the next evolution of consciousness.
That's a perfect way to wrap this up. What a gift, Sara. If anybody would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out? Maybe they've got a question or just want to say thank you.
Yeah, especially questions about Vision Quest or where to find one, or my email is the best. Sara, Saraj, Harris, Harris, @comcast.net.
Okay. And I'll link that up in the show notes. And What an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you so, so much for your time. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this.
Me too, Kathy. Thank you for your great questions. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know there are many ways you can spend your time. Thank you for choosing to spend it with me. Until our paths cross again, be kind to yourself and show your warrior spirit some love. If you know anyone who could benefit from today's episode, please pass it on. And many thanks for supporting the show by subscribing and leaving a review. It means a lot, and it helps others find their way to our circle. If you'd like to access the show notes, have a question you'd like addressed on a future episode, or would like a transcript of this episode, visit www.athenawellness.com/podcast. Until next time, be well.